This is an Ambernic RGDS running Linux. And while you could run Rocknix previously, we now have Ambernix official Linux distribution, which just released over the weekend. So I'm going to take a look at it and check it out and find out, does it help improve the RGDS? Because we all know the Android build was less than impressive, although it's been greatly improved by Gamma. But will they fall short and have some of the same issues with their Linux distribution? Is it better because it's coming later? Maybe they took time with it. We're going to find out as I check it out and see if I like it. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. But let's dive in and take a look at Ambernix just released brand new Linux build for the Ambernic RGDS. Let's go. Okay, so to begin, you're going to want to go to Ambernic's site here, hit the link below to get to it. You can see it's under firmware update. They do have updates for all of the Ambernic systems, so be sure to check this pretty regularly, like the Vita Pro here with its Linux system. But you do have the RGDS. Now, you have the official firmware for the Android build here, and the number 2 is the Linux build. Now, it does mention a 64 gig. If you need a 64 gig firmware link, contact Ambernic customer service. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know if that means it comes with some kind of ROMs or something. Interesting to see that. But I use this one right here, number 2. You click on the drive, and as you can see, it's going to take you to a drive here where you can download the actual firmware right here. Now, I'll pull up this doc to show you there is the Rufus software for your computer on a PC. But if you look at the instructions here, we'll get it down to English. You'll download that compressed file. You'll extract it. You'll open Rufus and follow the steps below. This is what Rufus looks like. After writing the card, you'll insert the card into your DS. The device will automatically partition the card and create folders for each platform. You're then going to remove the card from the RGDS, put it back into your computer, and add your ROMs. This is an advantage over Rocknix because Rocknix works in a certain way to add games to it. I found that this was actually better because I prefer putting my card into the system and moving the ROMs that way. And then you're going to want to copy the contents of this mod folder into the ROMs apps folder, and I'll show you in a little bit what it does. But it's pretty straightforward, not too difficult if you're a beginner. I think these instructions are adequate, and hopefully watching this you'll be able to do it. But now that I've got this downloaded, I want to take you in and show you a little bit about it and how it works. We'll be right back. Okay, so before I begin, I want to talk about this awesome little holder that I 3D printed for my RGDS. This is a really nice print that you can download for yourself for free and print, but you need a 3D printer. That's why if you check out the links below, I have some codes where you can save a significant amount of money to get your own 3D printer at places like AliExpress to help you make things like this awesome case. Or you can always still support creators on Etsy, which is another great way to do it. But if you're interested in 3D printing and you are collecting these handhelds like I do, I think it's a great combination. This is a great one. It holds the stylus. It looks fantastic. It fits perfect. And kudos to the designer for that. Okay, now that that's out of the way, one of the reasons why I think a lot of people wanted Linux on something like this is because we want to have very quick play in a console-like experience. And Rocknix is developing and is already a great ecosystem, and it's developing more for this platform. But it's nice to see Anbernic give an official OS for their platform. So, as you can see here, it boots up into a pretty interesting screen here that says to enjoy your games. Well, I certainly hope that you are enjoying your games. But booting up the first time, it is going to take a little bit of a second to boot up. But once it gets in there and you get into that system, you get to see the first beginnings of the software. And the software is, well, it's lacking in a lot of ways. So let's talk about the aesthetics of it. Aesthetically, it does present a console-like experience, which is exactly what anyone would want. And not to mention the fact that you can still dual boot and go into Android if you want that full Android experience. But the console experience is somewhat basic and plain, which can be both good and bad depending on your take or situation for it. Some of you might see this as a positive, but as it boots up into beginning your next adventure with Anbernic, I think it's kind of neat. They have that little quote there. I don't know if that's a new quote that they're going to start using or what. I don't know really as we go forward, but it boots right into the DS menu. And because this is a DS focused sort of platform, I think that that is very good. We're making use of both the bottom and top screen. The top screen has your main menu where you can use R and L to cycle through. So as you cycle through here from DS games, you can go into RetroArch, which is the next one over. Then there's collections after that, history, if you have once you have history, your applications folder, your search function, your settings, your reboot, and your shutdown. And it's pretty quickly navigated just by hitting L or R. So I like it. And the bottom screen has information that matches. For instance, when you're in RetroArch, you see the systems that you have loaded into your RGDS, showing you the systems you can play. And you can navigate through those systems. The collections is where you can put certain collections into your ROMs folder. History, of course, is your history. And then your applications. Now, I mentioned when you're burning the card, you do want to have that modified thing in there. And once you put that in there and you run it, you're going to get in your apps these two modified system settings and modified system tools. Now, the modified system settings is going to give you the ability, much like in the other Anbernic Linux ecosystems, the ability to change the language, to turn the bezel feature on or off, to turn the auto shader feature on or off, and to turn the RetroArch turbo key enabled, as well as setting the language. So it does give you the ability to do some of those things. You can quickly do that, and then you can escape by hitting select, getting you out of there. I like to have the bezels and shaders. Again, if you're wanting that more curated, easy to use solution, then I think this is going to be a great solution. And it's one of the reasons I like this hobby, because we have multiple choices. Because yes, I may like something more customizable like Rocknix that has a deeper level of customability, but your younger brother may just want to pick up and play, and this is going to give them that ability just to have that great console-like experience. Moving over into settings, we have system information, we have the lock screen timeout, we have the brightness, which can individually be changed from top or bottom. You may not need the bottom to be very bright, especially if it's just showing that you're playing GBA. So I think that's pretty nice. You can swap the screen, top or bottom. You can go into themes. Now, themes is where it's lacking quite a bit. It's going to boot up into this DS mode, but you can also go into classic. So as I show you here, you can click the button, and you can change it and choose to go into the classic mode. Going into the classic mode, and we're going to get a screen that looks, haha, it looks a lot like what we're used to seeing on the other Anbernic um, handhelds. And one of the things I do like about this classic is that you can actually adjust the background. Now, this is just version 1, and perhaps Anbernic will give us theming on this in the future. But really, if you want to have something a little fancier looking, I think the classic setting is going to be the way to go. Now, let's talk about the experience running the dual screen, the DS. The DS games load very quickly and they're very easy to use, making use of both screens. I found that it works very well and it just works, which is something what we all want. You can quickly navigate the system. It's running a form of drastic where if you hit the Anbernic button, you can get into the menu and you can very easily change your settings. It works really well, especially if you want to do things like switch screens. Now, everybody really wants Melon to work on this thing, either on the Android side or on the Linux side. I don't foresee that happening here. I'm not sure that this is ever going to be optimized enough to do that. But for me, drastic just works. It works good enough. And I think there's a little bit of a sort of anti-drastic aura out there. I think for what this is, it's great. We're talking about a $100 handheld with dual screens that can actually play your DS catalog. I've had a lot of fun going through and playing this. I love that the bezel feature can give you something like Game Boy Advance, and it can have the shader set for you. Now, you can also go into RetroArch, and you can control all those things, so it's not like you're locked out. But if you just want that plug-and-play experience, it's really good. Now, going into the App Center, we do have the ports, but there's no port master. So I'm a little confused by that, or I couldn't find port master. Again, that's another advantage you're going to have of Rocknix. So hopefully they'll develop this a little further. You do have ebook, music, video, PDF. Don't know why you'd want to have PDF, but you have that on there. You have your file manager. You have the expert section where you can do expert types of emulators. And you have Willy Willy, which is like the YouTube of China. But I digress. Overall, this is a very basic first attempt. It just works. That's great. It's plain, straightforward, console-like, easy to get into, easy to add games to it. And I think for many people that are not very sophisticated, this is a good solution. I'm looking forward to seeing what Anbernic does with this as they grow it. I like the ability to independently do the screen brightness. I would like to see it be able to run 2 separate apps. I don't know, maybe the CPU can't do it. That would be great. It would be nice if we could get some more like an app store or something on this. But again, if you just want that console plug and play, I think we found something really nice here. But let me know what you think if you try it out. Anyways, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow's never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.